Good morning. Victoria's worrying death toll is rising, with 21 new deaths recorded, 16 of those in aged care. Reid Butler is live for us. Reid, good morning. More than 400 aged care residents have been transferred to specialist COVID wards.
That's correct, Davina, and there are now more than 2,660 positive coronavirus cases at aged care facilities across Victoria. Now, of the 21 deaths that we've seen in the past 24 hours, 3 were people aged in their 70s, 11 were people aged in their 80s, and that is the highest number of deaths we have seen. Now, in terms of case numbers, in the past 24 hours, we recorded 410 new infections. That does represent an increase on the past several days, but it is only a minor one and does paints that picture that our case numbers do appear to be stabilising somewhat. That could be due to a number of reasons, potentially the mandatory mask policy. We're well and truly seeing the effects of that now in the lag of case numbers. We know masks reduce transmission by 70%. It also could be the beginnings of the effect of the lockdown that we have in Melbourne and Victoria as well. Now, in the past few days, a big issue in Melbourne has been the shortage of personal protective equipment for GPs and hospitals. Premier Daniel Andrews is speaking to the media now, and he has addressed that issue.
Around 68 million gloves, 19 million surgical masks, 2 million face shields. They are ready to be distributed to health services whenever they are needed. Our hospitals, they make requests for PPE on a daily basis, sometimes more than once per day, via a dedicated online portal. The standard is for orders that are received before 11 a.m, so an order received just an hour ago, that will be shipped out to the hospital by the following day.
Now, experts have also revealed a magic number that we should be aiming for in Victoria when it comes to case numbers. That number is 20 cases a day. If there can be a sustained period of time where the figure is as low as 20 a day, that would be a very good thing for Victoria, and there would be a chance that restrictions could ease. Feels like a little while until the cases will be that low, unfortunately, Davina.
Yeah, it's a long race, as the Premier said this morning. OK. Well, clusters of COVID-19 caused across New South Wales cases are growing in New South Wales. 18 more cases recorded overnight, 13 linked to known outbreaks. A second emergency department staff member at Hornsby Hospital has tested positive, but they didn't work while they were infectious. There's also been a third case at Our Lady of Mercy College in Parramatta, not linked to the 2 previous cases. The school is now closed for 14 days. The Premier this morning pleaded with people in Western and southwestern Sydney to come forward and get tested.
We really need to know that anyone who has the mildest of symptoms, or anyone who feels they may have been exposed because a direct contact or a venue they may have visited, or a place of worship they may have gone to, may have been compromised with exposure. We really need people to come forward and get tested.
Parramatta Public School is undergoing a deep clean this morning after a student tested positive there, and there are still concerns about a cluster linked to the Tagana School for Girls in Cherrybrook. Health officials are looking into whether the virus spread at a study retreat. We'll go to breaking news in Queensland, where there are reports a person may have fled from hotel quarantine in Toowoomba. Rob Morrison has the story.
Police say they are investigating these reports this morning that a person may have escaped hotel quarantine in Toowoomba. Exactly how that might have happened is unclear at this stage, but it's understood officers possibly made the discovery while they were conducting a head count this morning. Given Queensland's border is now shut and the number of virus cases is falling, if somebody has escaped hotel quarantine, it certainly will be a very big concern of authorities. It was only yesterday that we got confirmation that the state had contained the latest outbreak, and now the state government is adding more weapons to its arsenal to keep the virus at bay. Pharmacies going forward will also be able to conduct COVID-19 tests. The Premier says it is hoped that it will keep Queensland's fairly high testing numbers up.
Often pharmacies are the first place people with symptoms will seek treatment. It makes sense to be able to offer these people tests. It's another way we are keeping Queenslanders safe.
And Queensland will certainly be hoping it can keep virus case numbers down, because it is cementing itself once again as Australia's AFL state. Today we had confirmation that the Sydney Swans and Fremantle Dockers will join All of the Victorian teams are now called Queensland home. The two teams will now be based in Cairns for at least the next 3 weeks. It will mean the city will also see a number of games played over the next couple of rounds at Cazaly Stadium.
New Zealand's biggest city has just begun its stage 3 lockdown as the country battles a fresh outbreak of COVID-19. TVNZ reporter Anna Burns-Francis joins us from Auckland. Anna, good morning to you. There are fears the virus may have already spread.
That's right, Davina. We already know that the one household has at least 4 people who've returned positive COVID-19 test results at this stage, but 2 members of that household work in other workplaces that are now being thoroughly tested. One is a finance company, 130 staff there, all sent home, 3 people already showing symptoms there. The other person who's tested positive from the household works in a cool store facility. That's 160 staff across 4 different sites in Auckland, and that's also being tested and swabbed as we speak.
The United States now, where the final piece of the election puzzle has fallen into place. Democratic hopeful Joe Biden choosing his running mate for the race to the White House. US correspondent Amelia Adams has more.
Well, this is an historic pick. Senator Kamala Harris, who hails from here in California, is the first black woman to appear on a major political party's presidential ticket. She is seen as a solid, safe choice, an experienced prosecutor and attorney general. Joe Biden describing her as a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants. But the pair haven't always seen eye to eye. In fact, they famously sparred over Biden's track record on race during a presidential campaign debate last year.
Do you agree today that you were wrong to oppose busing in America then?
No.
Do you agree?
I did not oppose busing in America.
So that's where the federal government must step in. That's why we have the Voting Rights Act and the Civil Rights Act.
Well, the Trump campaign was ready to go today with attack ads calling Harris a phony, and the president went even further.
I thought she was the meanest, the most horrible, most disrespectful of anybody in the US Senate.
Kamala Harris and Joe Biden will appear together for the first time tomorrow ahead of next week's Democratic National Convention.